Hey cats, what's happening? It's the leaves are turning color and fall is upon us. But I call this Indian summer because the temperatures have been up in the 80s. And it's I'm taking advantage of every day I can to get out on the bike and ride. So yesterday was Taco Tuesday at Gino's, the biker bar. That's a few miles up the road from here. And my buddy Tommy, he was going up there for tacos, so I thought, okay, I'll ride the scooter up there and meet him. Now, I hadn't been up there in many years. In fact, boy, it had to be at least 20 years since I'd been back there. Now, the bar is under new ownership, and they've completely remodeled it. It is a really nice place. And they have really good food. So, Tommy said, why don't you meet me up there for tacos? So I says, all right. So I took the scooter up there. I take the back roads. I go to right up the street here is Coon Club Road. It's named after the Coon Hunters Club, which is maybe about a half a mile from here. Back in the day, when I first bought this property and lived here some 25, 30 years ago, they used to run the coon dogs up through here. And, you could hear them baying through the woods. Brr, brr, brr. And they'd go back in the woods and they'd tree a raccoon. And then the hunters would come along with their headlamps on. They would always do this at night, late at night. So it made quite a racket. And you could see the headlamps back in the woods, and then pow, they'd shoot the raccoon. And that was the game. So down the road is the Coon Hunters Club, which is a private club. They got a clubhouse back in there and whatnot. So I took the back road and I went up to Gino's, and it's real quiet. There was hardly anybody in there. Tommy and I sat at the bar, and Tammy, the owner behind the bar, really great lady, and served us up some of the enormous tacos that were just delicious. And the price is right, you can't beat it. So it made a good dinner for me. But it brought back a lot of memories being up there, seeing that I hadn't been up there for at least 20 years. And I got to remembering, way back in the day when that was the Cats Club. I mean, that's where we went as cats, and that's where we all hung out. I was up there every day of the week. And I'd walk in there, and everybody knew me. It was like a social thing. Nowadays, I don't have much of a social life. I spend a lot of my time here alone, which isn't a bad thing at all. I'm not complaining, definitely not complaining. But I don't mind having a little bit of social activity from time to time either. You kind of need that companionship, or you need somebody to talk to or somebody to hang out with. So it was nice to go up there, and it was just real quiet. Beautiful place, really clean, like I said, and the atmosphere was nice. Nothing like it used to be back in the day. But I remembered that, some 20 years ago or more, the president of the Cats was getting married, and they had a wedding at the Coon Club not far from here, and it was a nice kind of an outdoor wedding, an outdoor venue. And after the wedding, they had this big ride planned, so everybody had their motorcycles there, including mine. And the thing was, we were all going to go on this big ride. I don't think it was a poker run, but it was a nice ride way out in the country and around, and we ended up back at the Coon Club eventually. But there was a problem, because back then I was still married to my ex. And, when I bought this bike, she wanted to learn how to ride a motorcycle. And so being that, my driveway here is like 650 feet, plus I got this big circle here, I got a lot of room. I taught her how to ride here. I got her on the bike, and it's all relative. People say, well, you got a big bike, I don't know if I can hold it up. And well, if your feet can touch the ground, it's like riding a bicycle. Once you get rolling, you're good. It doesn't matter how heavy the bike is. And she took to it very quickly. I taught her how to use the clutch and ease out the clutch, the throttle, the shifting pattern, where the brakes were, how to stop, how to control it. And she went up and down the driveway about 3 times. And then she went down the driveway and didn't come back. So I thought, what the heck, would she tip over or something down there? I walked down the driveway and she was gone. She went out on the road and took off. So that was her newfound freedom, riding the Harley. Which I wasn't 100% on board with, especially when she had no license, no helmet, no nothing, and a novice rider on that bike, and just took off with it. And was gone literally for hours before she came back. I guess, there's not a better way to learn, but you got to learn somewhere, right? Anyway, let's go back to the wedding. That we're going to do the big ride. And all of a sudden she was adamant that she was going to ride the Harley. And I was going to have to stay back. Well, I'm sorry, but, what do you say about that? And it's difficult to argue with a woman, especially when they got it set in their mind how it's going to be. And she said, I'm riding the bike. I want to ride the bike in this wedding procession. It's something I want to do. And I said, well, gee whiz, I ride with, I know all these people. I ride with them too. What am I going to do? Just sit back and wait for you to come back? That's no fair. I want to go on the ride too. Nope, I'm taking the bike. I'm riding the bike. And it was this big heated argument. And finally I said, fine. You go ahead and take the bike. I'm riding on the back. I'm riding bitch. Well, she wasn't happy about that. But I wasn't going to go without putting up a fight either. So I sat on the back and off we went. Now I do give her credit because she was still able to control the bike fairly decent with me on the back. And if you know anything about riding, when you have a passenger on the back, it can be a little shifty. It can change things up, how the bike handles. And, it was she was a novice rider all the way, but being that I was on the back made it even a little more of a test for her. And she was still able to do okay. She kept up with the pack. We went on the ride and got back safely without any incidents. But that was the most humiliating thing for me. And, surprisingly, nobody nobody even said anything. It was just kind of like, hey, look at them. And I was like, whatever, each to their own. And nobody seemed to care. For me, I think it took a lot of balls for me to get on the back, but, it was just my way of saying, hey. And I thought I was going to call her out on it, but it kind of backfired on me, and I ended up riding on the back. So, yeah, it was probably the most humiliating, worst day of my motorcycle riding that I ever had in my life. But that's all in the past now. It's all a done deal. So, yeah, those memories came up as I had my tacos up there at Gino's last night. And it was still a good time. Will I hang out at the bar? No, that's not my thing anymore. Uh, I don't mind going up to the bar for a meal or something. Uh, Spend 45 minutes, an hour there, eat my meal, and then hit the road. And I'm not up there during prime time when when they have a band or whatever other entertainment they have up there when it's a crowd. I like it when I can go up there and there's like nobody in the bar. It's quiet, it's peaceful, it's just some good camaraderie with a few folks there. And, you eat your meal and then you get on the bike and you come back home. Well, that's the story for today. I don't know what I'm going to do with today. I am going to get back on the bike again, take advantage of this Indian summer. It's been in the 80s every day here this week and really hot. I mean, this is like summertime hot weather, not typical fall weather, but we're in October now, so within a couple more weeks, the temperature is going to take a nosedive, and then we're going to probably see some snow, which I'm not real thrilled about, but I'm ready for it. I'm prepared. I don't winterize the bike. It'll stay ready to roll. As long as they don't put salt on the roads, I can still ride. As soon as they start pouring the salt down, I'll hold off. I had enough salt damage on this bike. Otherwise, I'd ride all winter because there's days when it's, up in the 40s where it's perfectly fine to ride, but it's the salt that's the issue for me. I don't want to screw up my bike anymore with the salt. I've already got enough salt damage on this thing from years past. I mean, these front struts here, that's just all salt spray damage on there. And my aluminum wheels have some corrosion on there from salt too. And that salt gets in all the nooks and crannies on this, and then it's very difficult to get it out. So, you start getting rust down in these areas here where you can't really get in there to scrub the salt out, and it's not a good thing. Well, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to ride up to the apple orchard today and pick up another peck of apples. I'm wanting to make an apple pie. I love making pies. Pies are really simple to make. You go to the grocery store and you buy that pie crust that's already, all you got to do is it's already made. You just roll it out, put it in the pan, put your apples in there with some sugar and cinnamon and all that stuff, put the lid on it, and throw it in the oven, and oh my gosh, it's good apple pie. Well, thanks for watching, cats. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and continue to join me on this ride. Till next time, ride hard, die free.